What is going on, guys? If you're enjoying The Other Day with Derek Gansky, here's a couple things that I have been thinking about that is really awesome about this podcast. One, I use Anchor to create this podcast. It's free. The creation tools are right there, all within the app, all on your computer, where you can edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you also, so you don't have to worry about RSS feeds. You don't have to worry about how to get it there or looking at analytics on different platforms. It goes straight to Spotify and Apple and many more that you can listen to podcasts on. You make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So anybody who listens, you can make money from. If you have a ton of podcast listeners, you can make money from it. If you have just a little bit and you're starting from the bottom, now you're there. All you got to do is use Anchor. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Let me tell you how to do it. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's Anchor, ANCHOR.FM to get started. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. I can't wait to listen to your podcast. What is going on, everybody? This is The Other Day, and I am your host, Derek Gansky. I hope you are doing well. I'm sitting back in my apartment after a long break, long awaited. Some of you may have been looking and waiting for another podcast to come, but here we are. We're just sitting back at the apartment, hanging out after a Thanksgiving break. It was much needed. I went out to my property in West Texas and got to hunt a little bit and go deer hunting. I shot a cull buck, a little 7-pointer, that had some really wonky antlers, and then I shot a turkey and several pigs, including a huge boar, probably the biggest pig I've ever shot before. So I was pretty proud of that one. But yeah, again, thank you for listening to The Other Day. This is a podcast where I just kind of rant and talk about anything and everything, and I'm excited to talk about something today. So I will give you a little bit of forefront of thought coming into this. Typically, I try to come up with one main theme. In the past, you've seen, me talk about change or maybe conflict or maybe a passion or something like that. I had a few different things pop up in my head this past week or the other day, and I really couldn't nail one down, and that's kind of why it took me so long to get back to the podcast and to get something down in the audio waves for you to listen to. But I think what I kind of want to talk about today is creativity, and just why I think creativity is so fun and what it can look like, over time, and what it can morph and change into, and something like that. I mean, creativity can morph and change because of your previous passions that I talked about, and some of my passions. And in an earlier podcast, we talk about passion and or motivation towards a certain avenue or thing. But anyways, I want to talk about creativity and kind of what it means to me. I think that being creative is something that I enjoy. A lot of people talk about being in a flow state or being in a state of mindfulness where ideas and just original thinking comes about, and it's really fun to kind of get into that flow state and really think about that. And there's several different ways. I mean, the most common ones, a lot of people draw, or they paint, or they play an instrument, or they sing, or maybe they do something digitally, maybe animate, or maybe they do a podcast, and so there's so many things that people do, and in terms of when I hear creativity, I think of art, and I think a lot of us do, and I think of something that's just an original thought and original thinking. And I think it's really important for people to have their own original thoughts and to not think about what they heard somebody else say. And I think it's important to form your own opinions and form your own thoughts, because that makes you who you are as an individual. And that makes us better as a society if we can collaborate using our own thoughts. So anyways, I really like being creative and trying to be different. That's one of the reasons why growing up close to Texas A&M and going to the University of Texas was one of my objectives, is because I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be different. I wanted to be that person that pushes that boundary, that does something original and does it my own way. Because if you do it like everybody else does it, then you're never going to be who you really want to be. And being your own person is really hard to come by these days, with so much content coming your way, so many podcasts, so many videos, so many pictures and posts and everything that we look at for hours on end during the day coming your way. It's really hard to be creative and really hard to be your own person. And so I think that being creative is something that, can really change a person and really open somebody up to the world and really identifying certain things in yourself to open up your own original thoughts. And so it's really cool. I really love creativity, and I really love the way it changes people. Some of the things that I'm really enjoying now as far as being creative is podcasting, and how much it's grown and how different it is. To give a couple examples, I just got done watching Tom Segura and Christina Pajinski's Your Mom's House podcast, and I'm a huge fan of theirs and have watched all of their live video podcasts. And so it's a pay-per-view podcast where you pay like $10 to watch their live podcast, because it's uncensored and it's fully live, which is unbelievable. That's a podcast where they sit behind a desk and play videos and just make people laugh live. Same thing with The King and the Sting with Theo Vaughn and Brendan Schaub. They sit and they talk, and they bring in the Culture Corner and have jokes and have challenges and have all kind of stuff, and they have music. They have their own musical guests and people who create animations. I don't know why I said it like that. Animations and animate characters for each of them and characters within the show. It's unbelievable. It's very dynamic. So much more dynamic than a person just sitting behind a microphone like I'm doing right now. It's a fully formed show, and I think that is kind of where we're headed as far as content. It's a fully formed show. Same thing as something. It's multimedia within a video format. So it's video podcasting, which means having a video on YouTube and podcasting, but then they also have music involved, original music, they have original jokes, they have original challenges, they have all of this stuff that is putting themselves head and shoulders above the rest of the podcasting industry. And I really think that kind of is extremely creative, and watching their creativity morph and their producers' creativity morph over the time is really cool. When I first started watching them, the video was just of them sitting with microphones in front of their face and talking and cracking jokes with each other. Same thing on Your Mom's House, same thing on The King and the Sting. They had some songs and they had some videos, but it was not as deliberate as it is now, and not as driven as it is now. And it's unbelievable. If you go and you watch something like the Joe Rogan Experience on YouTube, his creativity is him coming up with original thoughts, and if I'm being honest, he may be kind of losing some ground as far as video podcasting, because he doesn't have these live shows. He doesn't have these fully formed musical performances, animations, drops like on Your Mom's House, or guests even, certain guests, and just drawn out storylines like these podcasts have. And they're really, really creative, and it's really cool to see the change over time that they've created, because, you know, at the beginning of their creativity, they thought, oh, this would be cool. Let's sit behind microphones and crack jokes and roast each other, and have a good time watching videos. And then they start changing to, you know, let's bring in guests to talk more and do the same thing with more people. And then once they start changing into that, they bring the producers in more, and the producers have more of a role in the audio and in the storytelling process. And then after that, they bring in video, and people start listening, and there's huge fans, and fans are creative, and all of their fans are enjoying it too. So they start creating songs, and they start creating animations. And now the King and the Sting is going to drop an album. Your Mom's House has fully formed musical content that comes out every single week. Plus they have the whole live stream pay-per-view. It's nuts. So you may be able to hear it a little bit, but yeah, like this changing of creativity is crazy, and just following it and just staying with that passion and staying with that creative flow is something that's really like enhancing these podcasts and really enhancing these entire storylines. It's created a whole studio for Your Mom's House Studios. It's nuts. And same thing with the King and the Sting. They have, you know, producers. They have a staff that works with them. It works on several podcasts. So it's unbelievable. But you know, so I guess leading into the next portion, you know, I'm going to start thinking about things on, you know, how can I enhance this podcast? How can I change things around? Maybe it's have guests. And maybe if you have feedback from me on that, on having guests, maybe what is a quality guest? What is a quality in a guest that you search out? Is it their own fame? Is it them being interesting? Is it them having original ideas? Let me know. I'd love to hear what qualities in a podcast guest you think. You can just hit me up on Instagram or anywhere. Shoot me a text, whatever. But I'm going to start thinking about that, and I'm going to start thinking about, you know, maybe there's segments in this podcast that I could start doing. Maybe there's certain things that I think about quite often that we found a trend on. Maybe it's hunting, for example, just kind of update you what I think about as far as going hunting or fishing or the outdoors. Maybe it's an outdoor segment, or maybe it's just, you know, what's next? What's going to be the next trend I'm thinking about? Next idea, or just next rare thing I'm going to start thinking about. But let me know. I really appreciate y'all listening each and every week. Again, just some source plugs here. Go listen to The King and the Sting with Theo Vaughn and Brendan Schaub and Your Mom's House. Yeah, don't listen to those at work. It's not a good idea, but go listen to them. They're a lot of fun. And they're really cool. What else? Go laugh a little bit. Go have some creative juices and let those flow. You know, my favorite piece of art, and my theme today was on creativity and just letting it out. My favorite style of art is stand-up comedy, or medium of art is stand-up comedy. I think it's unbelievable how somebody can just get up on a stage in front of thousands of people with a microphone and talk and make tons of people laugh and just have a fantastic time and put on a fully formed show. It's really unbelievable. And what they've done to transition that into a digital format with podcasting is really unmatched. Nobody has better podcasts than comedians right now. So it's data driven. Nobody does. So it's unbelievable. And thank you, stand-up comedy, for being so cool and going under fire and taking heat quite a bit for what you do and what you say, but you're still saying it and getting out there and being creative and just letting the free thinking and original thoughts flow. So, folks, thank you so much for listening. Don't take my thoughts for your own thoughts. Go listen and, spread your own ideas, because they're your own ideas and nobody else's. So I'm going to continue having my own thoughts. You continue having your own thoughts, and we're going to get creative. Yeah, that was weird. Don't do that either. But yeah, think about how you're going to get creative. Maybe play an instrument, draw something, write something, say something, sing something, be something. Maybe you could, act or improv or be in a play. You never know. You're never too old to be in a play or sing something, or make some music, draw something, write something. You're never too old. You're never too young. Try it out. See what happens. So I really appreciate it, again, folks, for y'all listening each and every week. I am going to be still in the deer woods for quite a while. Just an update. Still haven't seen our target buck, but we'll see. There's a few bucks coming around now that are getting pretty decent. So the rut is on. Thank you for following my hunting endeavors, of course, on Instagram, as always. Thank you so much again for listening, and I will see you next time. I'm out. Bye.